delivered by Uber Eats.
It's the final game of the regular season, game number 272, and we come to Las Vegas to Allegiant Stadium just off the Strip with a lot at stake as the Raiders take the field. Derek Carr trying to lead them into the playoffs, and on the other side, Justin Herbert trying to do the same for the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya. Have been a season of extreme turbulence for the Raiders. John Gruden had to resign as the head coach after 5 games. A month ago, this team was 6-7, had lost to Kansas City by 39, looked like they were dead in the water. But down the stretch, they came with 3 straight wins, and they win tonight, and they will go to Cincinnati for a wild card game next weekend. For the Chargers, a season with a little bit of everything. Dramatic wins, gut-wrenching losses, you name it. But they come in with a mark of 9-7, and if they win tonight or tie, they go to Buffalo for a wild card game next weekend. If a tie happens tonight, Pittsburgh's out. Crazy times, partner. Crazy. Let's talk about the Chargers first. They beat the Raiders 28-14 in October. What's the formula tonight?
You know, I think it's all about Justin Herbert. I really do. This young man's just so talented. There's really nothing that he can't do. But he may have to be a little bit more patient out here tonight. It can be really deep trying to get the ball deep against the Raiders defense. But in that first game, it was Joey Bosa. It was the defensive line that dominated. They're going to have to do that again.
For the Raiders, what's the formula for hitting the jackpot?
Well, Derek Carr really has been fantastic in the clutch this year, right? But he does have the second most turnovers in the league, so they need a clean game out of him. The good news is they've got Darren Waller, their outstanding tight end, back. We'll see how much of a factor he can be. And the defense has been playing really well lately. And I get the feeling that Raider Nation thinks they're going to have a little impact, too.
A wild and woolly season deserves a dramatic ending. What's in store tonight? We'll find out on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Hyundai and by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. 6 welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Now, isn't this fitting? After 271 regular season games, we end up here for the last one. Here in this desert oasis, where they judge you by how much you're willing to stake and define you by how far you're willing to go to get it.
Jackpot, baby!
Tonight, the stakes couldn't be any simpler. Win, and you're in. Fold, and you go home. The prize, a shot at everything they play for. This is Chargers Raiders Sunday Night Football.
One of the great rivalries going back to the beginning of the AFL in 1960. Let's go down to the field right now and check in with Michelle.
Well, Al, after that Week 14 drubbing at Kansas City, the Raiders were 6-7 and could have folded. But Derek Carr told us this team went back to work, saying, I've been on 8 Raiders teams. I can't say all of them would have come out of that loss the way that we did. And now with a shot at the postseason, Carr recalled the last time he led the Raiders to the playoffs in 2016, when a broken ankle left him unable to play and heartbroken. Now, with another chance, he told us, I've always wanted an opportunity to compete in the playoffs, not because I think I deserve it, I just think it would be awesome. And then there's Justin Herbert in just his second NFL season. He said last year at this point the Chargers were playing for nothing, but now they have, quote, a great opportunity, and you can't ask for much more. Now, given a tie would put both teams in the postseason, I asked both head coaches if their end-of-game strategies might change. Brandon Staley smiled and said, I don't think so. Rich Bisaccia said, we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And we're going to do whatever it takes to get to the playoffs, Al.
Michelle, in the words of Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. But what's at stake for the Raiders? They win, they go to Cincinnati. If this game winds up in a tie, they go to Kansas City. They're eliminated with a loss. And the Steelers would be at the Chiefs if that happens, 7-2. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, a win or tie sends them off to Buffalo. They're eliminated with a loss, and the Steelers would be at the Chiefs. The two coaches who both are in their first year. Brandon Staley, of course, was hired last year at the end of the season by the Chargers, and Bisaccia took over. Rich, at the age of 61, has been a coach in college football and pro football since 1983. And this is his first head coaching opportunity as he took over for John Gruden. Dustin Hopkins, who's cleaned up what's been a Chargers kicking mess for a lot of years, to send it down to Tyron Johnson. Raiders. Sunday Night Football brought to you by USAA, an official insurance sponsor of the NFL. By Uber Eats tonight. I'll be eating with Uber Eats. And by Hyundai. 45 years ago to the day, Raiders won the Super Bowl. John Madden being lifted onto the shoulders of his players. There is Virginia Madden. Great tribute to John. We'll revisit it later before the game. They had a nice tribute. The whole family's here. She's quite a woman. Virginia Madden had a bar when John was coaching the Raiders. Yep, she did.
And John Court met.
They met long before that. But she also got a pilot's license.
Wow. Married to a man who didn't get on an airplane for the last 45 years of his life. One more game this season than in the past. Tom Brady, most completions, 485, breaking Drew Brees' mark set back in 2016. T.J. Watt, 22.5 sacks. That ties Michael Strahan, who accomplished that feat back in 2001.
It was interesting with T.J. Watt. There was also a fumbled snap that the quarterback picked up, and Watt tackled him, and he thought, I think, that was a sack. It ended up not being a sack, so he had another one after that to tie the record.
Yeah, just
today to light the torch for Al Davis and John Madden and all of those great Raider players who played for John, alive and dead, that he loved so much.
just before kickoff, the lighting of that torch with Virginia, John's sister Judy, sons Mike and Joe, their wives Susie and Wendy, grandsons Jesse and Jack. Austin Eckler this season, he's had 6 games with 50 or more rushing yards and 50 or more receiving yards, tied for the most in Chargers history with LaDainian Tomlinson, most in the league this year. 3 games with a rushing and receiving touchdown. He already has a rush tonight. That's the most in Chargers history. And as we say, one shy of tying Jonathan Taylor for the league lead in touchdowns. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. Go to Michelle.
Well, Austin Eckler told me he's addicted to working out because he thrives on pushing his body to the max. He said he does a lot of jumping because it measures his lower body explosiveness and it produces acceleration, power, and the ability to run through blocks. We've been seeing that all night. He said, I'm in a good place in terms of how I feel in my little space. I don't compare myself to anyone, and that's what's gotten me here.
8-minute warning. 2 minutes to the half. Las Vegas up 10-7. Here's with a win or a tie. They go to Buffalo next weekend. If they lose, they go home. And the Steelers meet the Chiefs. Meanwhile, the Raiders, if they win, they go to Cincinnati. Tie, they go to Kansas City. And with a loss, Steelers at the Chiefs.
And the Steelers are cheering for either team to blow out the other one. They just do not want to talk about any ties at this point.
No, they don't. And the Raiders are used to going into overtime. They're 3-0 in overtime.
Big Ben and the Steelers. Playoffs?
And the 49ers hammer their way into the playoffs.
We'll look at all the matchups at the half. Alan, Chris, back to you.
All right, Mike, look forward to that as well. You're looking down upon the translucent roof of Legion Stadium, opened last year. End zone. So Super Wildcard Weekend, you've got 6 games coming up over 3 days. Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, 8:15 Eastern. Games to be determined on any of those networks. We know that CBS on Sunday has the 4:30 Eastern time game. Our crew will have the 8:15 Eastern time game next Sunday night. And ABC and ESPN will have the first ever Monday night wildcard game next Monday at 8:15. 10 for Renfro. Tell you, Chris, this season, I mean, you look at this season, how crazy it's been. And, you know, we've seen a lot of, I mean, Jacksonville beats Buffalo. Then they look horrendous. Go figure that game today, Indianapolis at Jacksonville. What happened?
I don't know. And now tonight, all anybody's talking about on the internet probably is the possibility of a tie here. So sort of an appropriate ending to this wild and crazy season that we've seen.
Yeah, everybody in Pittsburgh, of course, would go nuts if that happened. A tie knocks the Steelers out. Take a timeout. And we can tell you NBC's new Tuesday comedy, Grand Crew, has, Chris, it says you has the critics raving. It's endearing and hilarious. I want you to check it out, too. Grand Crew Tuesdays on NBC and the next day on Peacock.
I already recorded it, man.
Very good.
Although I like Peacock, too. You can go whenever you want.
You can.
How about that for a promo?
You're a machine. The third quarter.
I would not have done that. I would have taken a shot.
Regardless, a very entertaining first half. 17-14 with so much at stake. Coming up next, the Toyota halftime. Mike, Tony, and Drew to fill you in, guys.
All right, Al, thanks. 3rd and 23. Charger fans stew over that at the break.
Critical swing in the last 2 minutes, and you get the feeling this is going to come down to 2 minutes at the end of the ball game.
Yeah, some big mistakes by the Chargers, but they put together a couple really good offensive drives.
All right, second half ahead. Steelers don't care who wins as long as somebody does, right? Their overtime win in Baltimore has them on the brink of the playoffs, and Mike Tomlin dancing in the locker room. Yeah, we do see you. We'll see you live. And the matchups in the NFC coming up right after this.
Want more stats? Hey Siri, who leads the league in passing yards?
Consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Tonight's first half highlights are brought to you by Chevrolet.
Waiting all day for Sunday night.
Here's Roberts darting and dancing, and the ball's out. Las Vegas with the ball. Renfro beats Michael Davis to the end zone. Caught, touchdown. Renfro's 100th catch. That hole exploited, staying on his feet. Austin Eckler for the touchdown.
So good to have this guy.
Waiting all day for Sunday night.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
And in Las Vegas, some of the buzz. 17-14 is our halftime score. Eckler, second undrafted player with 20 touchdowns in the season. Priest Holmes of Kansas City was the other, and he did it twice. Richard had that long third down conversion on a 3rd and 23 to set up the go-ahead touchdown. Chargers 42 drives of 10 or more plays, 2 tonight, both touchdowns. And what's at stake? Winner of the playoffs, loser goes home, barring a tie where they both go to the playoffs. And the Steelers go crazy.
You know, at some point, we're going to have to start addressing that possibility as well.
We just did.
Yeah.
29, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Brandon Staley, Al, came out of the locker room and immediately went to the officials and complained about that pass interference call against Chris Harris Jr. He adamantly disagreed with it, told me the same, but he told me the Chargers weathered the early storm. They settled down on offense, and now he wants them to play physical at the line of scrimmage and take care of the ball. Rich Bisaccia said the Raiders would make some adjustments to deal with Austin Eckler, but his overall message to his team, we will compete to the bitter end.
Some things are still in play, obviously, depending on the outcome of this game. But Saturday, you've got New England or Vegas at the Bengals. Chargers or New England at the Bills. Sunday, Eagles at Buccaneers for sure. And then 49ers at the Cowboys for sure. And then our game with this crew will be Vegas or Pittsburgh at the Chiefs Sunday night. And then the Monday night game will be Arizona at the Rams. There you go.
Let the games begin.
Let the games begin. Not yet, but still to be determined.
Pretty good game right here.
Yep. Josh Jacobs.
All right, let's take a look at our next-gen stats powered by AWS. And what were the odds that long run could possibly happen and turn this football game of Jalen Richard? 1.6% chance. Yeah, for Staley, this is what he's doing, all right? Their chance of winning is 35%, right? And then here's what happens. You convert that one, it jumps to 45%. If you're stopped, it goes to 26%. And if you punt, you are neutral. So it is a little bit under the 50-50 percentage points that you would like to go for it in that situation.
Sunday Night Football brought to you by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL. By Toyota, let's go places. By Applebee's, here's to the regulars. And by Geico, save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. If you saw that game, you'll never forget it. It's the Holy Roller. Even the San Diego Chicken went upside down as the ball was advanced by the Raiders into the end zone at San Diego to pull off a 21-20 win over the Chargers. And because of that, they changed the rule. Only the fumbler could advance it after that. Great halftime acts this season and some big NFL events coming up to the Legion Stadium. The Pro Bowl is here. The week before the Super Bowl on Feb 6th. The NFL Draft is in April. And Super Bowl in February of 24 will be here as well. We were supposed to have the draft here, and then the pandemic hit. 2020, they were telling me they would have 400,000 people in town had they held it. We'll see what happens. Workplace comedy on NBC called American Auto from the creator of Superstore, starring Saturday Night Live's Ana Gasteyer. American Auto, Tuesdays on NBC. And next day on Peacock, aerial coverage. What a shot that is. Being brought to you by Geico. Las Vegas on this Sunday night. What a sight. Then bones are rolling. You know that. You do know that, don't you?
I know that. I know that.
Today, it's the Raiders of the Patriots at Cincinnati. That's on NBC. And then Sunday we'll be in Kansas City for the night game. Raiders or Steelers against the Chiefs, who are the number 2 seed in the AFC. Super Wild Card Weekend coming up beginning next Saturday at Legion Stadium. If the Raiders are to go, they're going to have to be at the bottom of the barrel here in terms of the seeding. 2016. Chargers in the fourth quarter. A little power surge here. Some dramatic wins. 166 points they have scored in the final quarter, second most in the NFL this season. But the power outage is on the other side. 173 points allowed. Had the note about most points in the fourth quarter in history for any team, any season, and that pass is caught up. So once again, let's take a look at what's in play here. The Chargers win or tie, they go to Buffalo next week. They're eliminated. They're out of the playoffs with a loss, and that would mean the Steelers are at the Chiefs next week, which is the Sunday night. What's at stake for the Raiders? They win, they're at the Bengals. They tie, they're at Kansas City. Eliminated with a loss, and the Steelers would be at the Chiefs. Got it. Phylon is the guy.
You know, Al, we haven't really touched on this yet.
But
if this thing were to go into overtime.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
You get down to the last 2 minutes of a game. And now decisions, right? I mean, are you going to be willing to sort of sit there and play for a tie? I think that it's within your means to do so.
You are a conspiracy theorist.
I'm just saying
that,
there's
right?
some complexity to this whole thing.
There certainly is.
Yeah, and
because we know what's going on. Well, meanwhile, you got to bring the card out to take out a man who's having a hell of a night. Check out what happens to him here. Whatever it is, he goes right to the turf. He's going to get a big ovation going out as he gets taken off the field. Boy, what a night he's had.
Whatever it is, if they come out of here with a win, he's going to have a huge piece of that one.
See the ball.
All right. Well, overtime in the final game of the regular season. Who goes to the playoffs? Who doesn't? Or do they both go? You just tuning in. Number one, I'm sorry you missed a hell of a game to this point. And if you want to know what's going to happen and you don't know, this game winds up at a tie. Both teams go to the playoffs. Chargers win, they go to Buffalo. Raiders win, they go to Cincinnati.
And that is your only job as a head coach. Get your team to the playoffs. How you do it, nobody cares.
Right after the game, it's the Abbott post game. Michelle on the field interviewing the star of the game. Chris and I preview Super Wild Card Weekend right after the game. That was the best show in Vegas tonight, I'll tell you that.
All right, Al. You want to play a little game?
Sure.
Go down. The Chargers go down, kick a field goal, eat up a bunch of the clock. You burn through a few timeouts. There's no timeouts. There's 2 minutes to go. You get the ball back. Do you take a knee and send your team to the playoffs?
I hear you. It's like what Bisaccia told to Michelle. You know, whatever it takes to get our team into the playoffs.
I'm with him. I've got to say, I'm with him.
Yep. Chargers out. Steelers in.
We'll never know, but I can't help but wonder if that timeout changed the mindset of Rich Bisaccia.
We'd like to know. I don't know if he is going to fess up totally.
No.
What a game, what an ending, what a season, and off to postseason we go.
Never seen anything like it in my whole life.
Stick around long enough, you'll see everything. This was a one-off. That sends the Raiders to a game next week. Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and the Chargers to the offseason. Raiders win it 35-32. Look on the face of Keenan Allen. For only the second time in 19 years, Raiders go to the playoffs. Abbott post-game show coming right up.